Hello YouTube. Today it's just after 6 in the afternoon on Sunday, October 18th. And I'm showing you that because I've decided that today I'm going to try to do a fast. Not just for today. I want to do at least a 48-hour fast. That will be through Tuesday at 6 p.m. Actually, I stopped eating roughly 5:30 this afternoon, but I'll use 6 o'clock as a good starting point. I just wanted to document how things are going with the fast so that you guys can see. I'm a relatively large guy still. I've actually lost over 60 pounds from where I was at my max weight, but I still have quite a ways to go as I'm continuing to improve my health. And so I just wanted to let everybody know you guys can fast and succeed at fasting. Now, it's probably going to be useful if I first let you guys know what exactly did I eat today, because I'm about to go into a fast. So it would help to know what I did today. When I got up this morning, I didn't eat anything. I usually don't eat breakfasts. And I didn't eat until about 1:30 this afternoon. From 1:30 to 5:30 is roughly a 4-hour window. I tend to do intermittent fasting already. Not so much planned, it just kind of happens that way. So if I'm hungry in the morning, I'll eat. I don't strictly make myself do a specific schedule. But this morning, woke up, I wasn't hungry, and so it was about 1:30, and what I ate for my breakfast, which was really my lunch, was a salami, and I had some beef and cheddar sticks. I actually buy mine from King Soopers, which is one of our local grocery stores here. So it's kind of more in bulk. It's not the snack item version, which is a little more expensive if you're buying a bunch of those. So I had 3 of those. So it's just a beef stick and cheddar stick. And I had some white cheddar, sharp cheddar. There's 3 of those as well. So that's what I ate for my breakfast / lunch. And then at roughly 5 o'clock, I cooked up and ate some breakfast sausage. I could only eat 5 of those total. There was 8, so I ended up throwing out 3 of them because I couldn't finish them. With that, I did have my garlic. I cut up some garlic cloves. I ate about the equivalent of 3 garlic cloves, I believe, with the sausage, and I had a pickle with some pickle juice, which is actually vinegar. If you are fasting, you can drink some vinegar, like apple cider vinegar is definitely approved. I don't have any apple cider vinegar, but since I've been doing pickles, probably even while I'm doing this fast for the next 48 hours or so, I'm gonna drink a little bit of that anyway, because the vinegar does help. I'll probably have a little bit of that, but other than that, I'm just planning on strictly having water. And I do have some diet root beer. I think I've got 1 can of that, and so I'll probably drink that during this fast too, just because water gets old. Trying to taste something other than water is nice. So that's really all I'm planning on for, like I said, the next 48 hours, and we'll see. I'm gonna do a couple of updates throughout and let you guys know how I'm doing, and let you guys see that this is easy to do. It's within your grasp. The one thing I will say is, if you are wanting to do this, don't start with a 48-hour or longer fast. Build up to it. I've been doing carnivore now for over a month. My carb headache is gone. That's because before this, I was definitely addicted to carbs, and it takes a while to wean off. It's just like if you are an alcoholic and you have to go through detox with alcohol. Same thing happens with carbohydrates. They're very similar in the chemistry, with the same types of atoms that are in it: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. That's going to be in the alcohol sugars. It's going to be in the carbohydrates as well. It takes a bit for your body to switch over into ketosis so that you're burning ketones instead of glucose directly from carbohydrates. Once you do switch over though, then switching into a fast is really easy. So for me, it took about a week to adjust the first time that I ever tried to do a low carb diet. This last time around, it only took a couple days. The first time I tried low carb was a couple years ago. I fell off the wagon with that because I am definitely addicted to potato chips. That's my big weakness. This time around, after I realized that quarantine was doing bad things to my health because I was eating the cheap junk food, which is mostly carbs, it only took me a couple days to readjust. It took about 48 to maybe 76 hours for me to adjust over to burning ketones again at that point. Since then, it's been relatively straightforward, so I'll just keep checking in over the next few days. So this won't be immediately up on my channel. You'll have it after I have either successfully completed my 48-hour fast, or I don't know, maybe I'll push it for longer than that. It kind of just depends on how I feel. Bare minimum, if I don't eat before 6 o'clock tomorrow, then I've got 24 hours in the can already. I'm going to try and do another video about this time tomorrow just to show where I'm at in the process. But yeah, I don't anticipate any hardships. Doing the 24 hours is going to be fairly easy for me to do just because of having a high-fat diet right now and low carb. I'm in ketosis. I have plenty of fuel for my body to burn. I don't need extra food when I have this much fuel for my body to burn. So we'll see how things go, and like I said, I'll check in. And for me, it'll be 24 hours or so before my next video, but for you, it's gonna be a... And just like that, we're back. It's a brand new day. It's been about 23 hours now because it's just past 5 o'clock my time. Haven't eaten anything today, and I feel great so far. Things are going about what I expected. The first day for fasting for me is always fairly straightforward and fairly easy. I'm used to putting off food for a day at a time, and having been on the carnivore diet now for more than a month, then it makes it a lot easier too because I'm already in ketosis. So I'll just continue doing that. It's going to be interesting starting tomorrow to see how I feel. That's going to be more realistic. Usually when I do fasts, the second day is always the hardest of them. My guess is that's going to be consistent, and tomorrow I will probably feel a little bit more run down and a little bit maybe having a headache, slight headache. But today, no problems. In fact, I haven't even had anything other than water today. I haven't had any pickle juice. I know I'd mentioned that I'll probably have some of that. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I did take my multivitamin, so that's technically, I guess, something beyond just water. It is now Monday, just past 5 o'clock. I am at roughly 23 hours into this fast, getting ready for the next 24. All right, and here we go. It is now 6 o'clock on Tuesday, and I have not yet eaten anything since Sunday. It is time to eat. All right, well, I have just finished eating. It is now about 7:20 in the evening on Tuesday, October 20th. I've done fasting since around May of 2019. Last year I did a fast for a full 7 days. I was glad that I was able to accomplish it. It was made a little more difficult though, because at the time I was going to and from work, and on the last day as I was returning home, there was a guy in front of me on the bus who was eating a bag of chips, and the smell of it was just getting to me. Again, this was my 7th day of no food, and it was really starting to gnaw on me, and I persevered. I made it through. He finished his bag of chips and threw it in the trash, and then pulled out another one and began to eat that one. And so by the time I got home, I was like, yep, this fast is over. The temptation, especially because potato chips are my downfall, was a little too much for me, so I broke my fast then at 7 days. I think I probably could have done about 10 days, but it gets more difficult, obviously, once you hit the temptation side. For this fast, I did 2 days. 2 days is nothing, 48 hours. It was actually about 49 total by the time that I cooked up my food and ate it. It's one of those things where I don't think that if you're eating a regular American diet that it would be easy to do. But if you are doing keto or low carb or carnivore, then I think it's a lot easier to fast, because when you're in a ketosis state already, then especially when you're a large guy like I am, my body has plenty of fuel. I don't need to eat, and not eating, I don't get the hunger pains. In fact, I didn't even get hungry at all until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. So that's about 42 hours in. Yeah, if I did the math right, about 42 hours into the fast before I even got my first hunger pain. Now, that doesn't mean that I didn't think about food before then, but it was thinking about food out of habit. It was, oh, it's time to eat. Oh yeah, I'm not eating today. But no point was my stomach going, I'm really hungry, or growling, or any of that. None of that happened. And it wasn't until, like I said, around 2 o'clock this afternoon when I first started going, I'm actually hungry. This is a hunger pain. It's not just me wanting to eat out of habit. And again, I could have gone even longer. Like, I could have easily gone through till tomorrow without any real hindrance on my effort, because being hungry only after 42 hours, then skipping one meal is not really that much. Now again, like I said, if you're eating the standard American diet, I don't think that this is necessarily going to be possible for you. It would take a lot of willpower if you're addicted to carbs, or if you've had a lot of carbs in your body. When you're eating carbs already, it takes just a couple of hours before you're hungry after eating. And so that's why we kind of eat 3 meals a day. We eat a lot of carbs and you get hungry after 3 or 4 hours. But when you're eating a lot of fat, like I am, then you just end up not wanting food that frequently. It helps a lot with the ketosis. So one of the questions that people have asked repeatedly is, why do you want to starve yourself? And so I want to make it clear, when you're fasting, you're not starving. True, you're not eating anything, but there's a difference between not eating and starving. The difference is your body type. So for me, because I am overweight still, because I have a lot of fat in my body, when I'm not eating, I'm not starving yet. If you are lean, if you're malnourished, then fasting would be equivalent to starving. Starvation occurs when your body no longer has fat stores and it starts to eat muscles, because that's all it's got left, and it eats the muscle. Your body is intelligent though. It wants to eat the fat first, and it will eat the fat first. In fact, that's another misconception that I've run into a lot online, is people who are saying if you fast, you'll lose a lot of muscle. And that's simply just not the case. If it was the case that fasting would make us lose our muscle, then if we missed 2 or 3 meals, it would make it that much more difficult to get more food, whether we're hunting and have to chase down prey or whether we're farming. So from a design perspective or from an evolution perspective, whichever perspective you take on that, if it makes no sense that people would lose muscle first. No, your body is going to maintain energy so that you can keep getting food. And your body doesn't want to eat your muscle. You're using your muscle. So yes, it's true that tests show that when people are fasting, the proteins in their urine go up. I believe it's urea that indicates that you're burning protein. But just because you're burning protein doesn't mean you're burning muscle. So your body is made of lots of different proteins, and not all your proteins are muscle. In fact, when you're fasting, you're losing skin, for example, and when your body absorbs skin, well, skin is just another protein. Your bones have protein. Your blood vessels have protein. Protein's everywhere. So it doesn't mean just because your protein is going up in urine, does not mean that you're burning muscle. And in fact, tests have kind of shown that if you're fasting, you actually have protection against losing muscle, at least compared to caloric restrictive diets. No, you're not starving, and 2, you're not losing your muscle by fasting. Now, obviously, this is for relatively short fasts. I say short because while they're long, at 48 hours is considered a long fast, it's not like a 2-week fast or a month-long fast, which people have also done. One thing I will also point out is that I feel tons better while fasting than after having eaten. So right now, having just eaten about 15 minutes ago, finishing that up, I feel a lot less energy because my body is now using energy to digest the food that I just ate. Whereas before, I was alert and had tons of energy. In fact, I had some difficulty sleeping last night because of how much energy that I had. At the same time, having just eaten, I know I'll sleep like a rock tonight because I'm going to be using more than the majority of my energy to digest the food that I just ate. I think you burn something like 60% of your calories just digesting more food. As I was saying, I felt better while I was fasting than I do while eating, and I felt like I could think clearer, and I felt generally more alert. So there's a lot of benefits to doing it. Anyway, I don't want to ramble on too much. This video is already going to be fairly long because of the multiple days involved in it. And I don't want to make it too bloated, much like me when I eat too much food. So with all that said, you guys have a wonderful day, and peace out.